Ngugi wa Thiong'o is one of the very important writers of post-colonial literatures as well as theory. Even we can term him one of the most important writers of world literatures today. Uh, in theory, his very important contribution has been the concept of decolonization, which is not the same thing as political independence. Decolonization occurs, he says, when a colonized society is free from all the colonial frames and terms of reference. This is a situation we understand is more idealistic and practically, perhaps it will be difficult to achieve this state for a large number of years to come. However, the process, the attempts are going on. So, in this essay on the evolution of the English department, he makes a case for replacing the English department in Nigeria with a department of African language and literature. Published in 1972, actually, it was talking about an incident in the late 60s. It is pretty surprising that in Africa itself, in a very famous university or University of Nairobi, there was no department of African language and literature, and there was department of English literature. The situation is a bit different in India, since most Indian literatures have had a written history. I think that is a bit controversial. Teaching English in the universities were soon followed by teaching the Indian languages and literatures like Bangla, Assamese, Hindi, etc. However, in Africa, can imagine till the late 60s, even there was no department of African literature and language. So he says that the English department should be abolished, direct decolonization. However, there are some subtle points inside, mm, without reading which the title may be a bit misleading. There is a pragmatic position that he adopts inside the essay. He does not actually mean to say that we can do away with English altogether in that essay, though later he tried to do so himself, writing novels in his mother tongue, Gikyu, and then again there was some kind of return to English. However, in this essay, he is saying that we reject the primacy of English literature and culture, which is not the same thing as saying total rejection of English literature and culture. He says, yes, it's a matter of convenience that English has united so many African communities which are heterogeneous actually, just as we had in India. So, for political expediency, we have accepted English as a means of communication, but it is not at all necessary that in everything we anglicize ourselves in culture, literature, etc. This is quite related in theme and spirit to Echiwe's essay, on which also I have made a video, Echiwe's essay on the novelist's teacher. So, in this essay, the abolition of the English department, the main contention is English will remain as a link language. We can remember similar policies from India in this regard. However, the primacy of English shouldn't be there. The primacy in Africa should be of African languages and cultures and literatures. In further elaboration, he identifies, three kind of roots for African literature or ob, one of which is European, which must be studied. So, as soon as you say European, you partially decolonize yourself, even if you are recolonizing, because it is no longer English only. So, English, Spanish, French, these things should be part of the study. At the same time, he says the major focus should be on the African oral tradition. Oral literature is very rich in any given community, and it is especially rich in Africa, where written culture came a lot later. So we have to tap the resources of these oral traditions, the meanings of their cultural practices, songs, dances. In fact, mm, co-terminus with this, in theory also, we are trying to deconstruct this binary between writing and speech, all these things. So this abolition of the English department should finally focus on replacing the English with African, and that too a major emphasis should be given on African oral tradition. These days we can call them performative traditions also. So this is not only a rejection of English but a solution. What could be the alternative? So this also is an important essay. So all of you can read this, easily available on the net. Just Google the name, on evolution of the English department, and just go through it. Thank you.